This channel is supported by my online fishing courses, including my new bucktail fishing course. You can learn more and get significant discounts at saltstrong.com/Skinner. I'll have links to all of the gear in the video description. All right, the goal for today, I want to try and get a slam. Bluefish, bass, weakfish, fluke. I think today is one of the few days where it's really possible. I had 3 of the 4 last time, didn't have bluefish. Bluefish are in now. We'll see what I can do. Okay, so my strategy is to leave fluke for last because out of the 4 species, they're the ones that I don't think really care as much about it being early in the morning, so I'm going to start early on this rip. And got quite a drop off here, current coming off this ledge, and going to do some bucktailing, blues, bass, and definitely could pick up a weakfish here as well. So as far as I'm concerned, I've got 3 species in play here. All right, I'm starting on the shallow part of the ledge. Going to be about 15 feet to start and slide back to about 30 feet. Okay, and the lure is a 1 ounce S&S John Skinner swing hook bass bucktail. It's got an otter tail bait strip on there. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. Yeah, I'm drifting along pretty fast there, so by the time that fish got in the boat and unhooked, I'm well off where I hooked it, so I'm going to run back up current. And this time, I'm just going to spot lock the trolling motor up there, and this way here, I'll be able to easily adjust my depth. I'll start shallow and kind of let it slide back a little bit. I'm going to spot lock anchor it, but then I'll drop back a little bit. If I feel as though it's necessary. I mean, if I'm catching, I'll stay put. But yeah, this is going to work out just fine. There's my bluefish. All right, he counts because I just don't want to net him, that's all. Okay, well, I'm just getting started. I don't want to like leave this and go weak fishing just yet. So I'm going to do some more fishing here because, yeah, I could pick up a weak fish here, but a couple of 100 yards away from here, especially on the slower part of the tide, I'll have a decent chance at a weak fish. If it doesn't work, then I've got a weak fish spot to go to. But yeah, let me do a little more fishing here and see what else I can catch. Yeah, my whole goal is I'm not bouncing that bucktail on the bottom. I'm just trying to keep it within a couple of feet of the bottom, give it some erratic action. It's totally different if you're anchored or drifting. I am using 15-pound test braid, so that 1 ounce bucktail is going to sink really easily. And just letting it slide down current, go off that underwater ledge. So right there I opened the bail and let some more line out to let it get back down to the bottom. Alright, and this trip is on the Peconic Bay system in eastern Long Island. It's going to be various spots. I'm going to definitely hit, I don't know, 4 or 5 spots here. So there won't be a link to this rod in the video description. This is a old rod that I picked up in a department store in Abu Garcia, made in America, it says on there. And it was broken, and it was for $5. So for another $5 I added a tip, and I really like the rod, so I'm still using it. So I just had those 2 bass. I probably had a half a dozen bluefish, but now I'm going to make a move and try for weakfish very nearby, just a couple 100 yards away. Okay, the rig here on the bottom, 1.5 ounces, S&S John Skinner fixed hook, Fluke bucktail tipped with squid. And then on the teaser, it looks like I'm starting just a plain hook with a strip of squid. Hey, I want a weakfish, and that's a pretty sure bet if they're down there that they'll hit this rig. And I'm just going to drop it to the bottom, and it's deeper here. It's like 60 feet, but it will come up and just lift these slow lifts like you see. Oh. Now this could be a weakfish. This could definitely be a weakfish. This is not a sea robin. I think this is a weakfish. Got the head shakes. If this is a weakfish, I'm going to go fluke fishing. Oh, this is going to be a weak. Oh, damn it. This is going to be hard to catch weaks here. So the presence of a lot of bluefish, especially larger ones, does not help weakfish efforts. So I'm going to make this move, and yeah, you probably can't see it on the right-hand side of my plotter there. I've got about 4 marks, previous weakfish marks, and I'm just trying to get the boat over those, and I'm going to work that and try to get a weakfish. Okay, a porgy, that doesn't count. Alright, so on the top hook I've got a gulp grub, and I still put a strip of squid on there at times. The thought is if something like a porgy pulls that squid off, the weakfish will definitely still hit the gulp, but I feel much better if I'm really trying to get weakfish. I feel much better tipping all of that with squid. And this squid is left over from the previous trip when I was porgy fishing, I don't know, less than a week prior. And that was left over from the previous season. It sat in the freezer. So, yeah, it's not quite fresh, but yeah, this is stuff I get at WeGo Bait and Tackle in South Hole. And it starts off so good you could kind of abuse it a little bit and still catch fish with it. And a nice one at that. Nice one. Okay, and I did not continue weak fishing. I went immediately, headed to the Fluke grounds to see if I could complete the slam. Okay, slam quest is going almost a little too easy. So bucktailed a couple bass, a few blues, fooled around there, moved over to a weakfish spot. Took about 30 or 35 minutes to get a weakfish, and it was a nice one. In fact, kind of would have been not bad to stay there and fish for weakfish, but moving on to Fluke. And honestly, the blues came easy, but I think the Fluke is the easiest one. I mean, just, you know, I'm not saying a keeper's easy. Not the way it's been, but oh, look at that, 1.1 miles an hour. Make some drifts. Short fluke gives me the slam. I should almost catch a short fluke and then go back to where the weakfish are, but we'll see. All right. 3 ounce. I bet I could use a 2 ounce with these conditions. Alright, I gotta make one drift with the 3 ounce. Yeah, this is 2 ounce territory here with this. Yeah. Oh, what was that? Oh, that doesn't feel like a sea robin. Yeah, this is a sea robin. Maybe not. I don't think it's a sea robin. What the hell is that? Big porgy. My goodness. Oh, the bay is just inundated with sea robins. Yeah, so I made one pretty long drift, a second pretty long drift. I'm about halfway through my third drift. I've been here a while. You know, the fluking in the bay, in this bay, it's just been really, really tough. There's about 15 boats. Even like the well-known Fluke party boat that usually fishes here, he's a couple miles away fishing for porgies. I don't see any charter boats, and the 15 private boats that are here, I mean, look, it's quiet, you know, I'm watching, and nobody's hooking up. It's just the way it's been. As I'm narrating this, I'm aware of some good bites out at Montauk and on the South Shore, but the bay's been good for a lot of things. Bass, blues, weakfish, but Fluke, boy, I'm struggling to get a short. And actually, I just want to get a short so I can leave and then search out some other areas farther east and scout around a little bit. But this is the spot that's been producing the best, so I have to pass through here. I got to give it a try. I think this is what I'm looking. This is what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's a big one. Wow. Oh, that's a heck of a nice way to complete the slam. That's my first decent fish on my new the John Skinner Fluke rod that's available at J&H. And there's a link in the video description. I've caught some nice fluke out in Montauk with the last prototype, but this was the first real one that's in production. And boy, that just felt great. All right, so I am not even going to finish this drift. I really, look at that big bulge in his stomach. So that was a porgy, by the way. He had eaten a porgy. Yeah, I just want to move on out of here, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try some other parts of the bay because I want to scout around and see if I can find better concentrations of fluke. So I tried 3 of my favorite spots farther east, and yeah, this was the only interesting thing that I caught. And it's not a fluke, so yeah, just well, off to a tough start. Water's about 56 degrees. Well, there's my first sea bass of the season. So this trip had striped bass, bluefish, weakfish, fluke, porgy, and sea bass. And we won't mention the sea robins. All right, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe, and please check out my new bucktail online fishing course at saltstrong.com/Skinner.